get a better understanding of the evolving China-Africa partnership, this is China-Africa Talk.
Hello and welcome to China-Africa Talk. I'm Tian Yu. The 2026 FIFA World Cup has already delivered unforgettable moments, but one of the biggest stories has come from Africa. 9 of the continent's 10 teams have reached the knockout stage, a historic achievement that reflects just how much African football has grown in recent years. And it's not just about the numbers. Morocco have continued their remarkable rise by knocking out the Netherlands to reach the round of 16. Cape Verde captured plenty of attention by holding Spain to a draw in the group stage, while the Democratic Republic of the Congo stunned Portugal with a 1-1 draw before securing a place in the knockout rounds. So, what has been behind this success? Is this the beginning of a new era for African football? And how far can these teams go in this World Cup? To explore those questions, our colleague Matthew Smutai is joined by sports reporter Mohammed Abubakar and sports commentator Eugene Murray. And let's listen to their discussion.
The 2026 FIFA World Cup group stage has officially wrapped up, and history has been made. For the first time in tournament history, the expanded 48-team format has delivered a 32-team knockout round, and Africa has emerged as one of the biggest winners. Indeed, 9 of Africa's 10 representatives have qualified for the knockout rounds. I'm going to pose this question to you. Has this been one of Africa's greatest World Cup group stage performance ever?
I go first?
Mohammed, yes.
Right, thank you, Matthews. To be honest, as a sports reporter, journalist operating on the African continent mainly, I'm really thrilled to have seen and watched the African teams perform this well. I know it's an expanded tournament, so the representation for Africa has been bigger compared to the last years. But to have 9 out of 10 countries go to the knockout stages, that's basically 90% of Africa's representation. Whereas in previous editions, I don't think we ever had more than 2 teams out of the 5 that went to the knockout stages. So it speaks volumes of how the African teams are developing and evolving in terms of their football and competing with the best around the world. So to be honest, I'm really, really happy and proud to see how the African teams have performed.
Eugene, has this been a good advertisement for African football to the world?
That actually answers itself because, Moha, I think you'll agree with me when I say this. This single performance, a 90% finish rate for all African teams, vindicates AFCON. Before this, we'd have to keep crying to the rest of the world that, African football should be taken seriously. Oh, this and that. Right now, we don't even have to ask that question. It's spoken for itself.
Yes.
This is exactly how I wanted it to play out. And at the beginning of this World Cup, I'll be honest, I genuinely was worried about this World Cup. I thought this was going to be, and I'm going to say this, the single worst World Cup we will ever see because there were too many headlines coming out before anyone has set foot on the football pitch. Yeah. And now,
the football has done the talking.
Yeah, the football has done the talking. Yeah. Africa takes the day in the group stages, which arguably adding more teams made things a lot harder.
I'm going to hold you down on that point a little bit because, like you said, there were very many headlines written, and one of the headlines was by the Italian head coach, Gennaro Gattuso, who had suggested that Africa should have less spots than the 10 that were allocated to them. Would you say that African teams have sort of answered him on the pitch?
9 out of 10. Yeah, Gattuso has his answer. It's very, very clear, straightforward.
I mean, ironically, he was the head coach of Italy through the qualification campaign and failed to qualify his team to the World Cup. So for him to say that and for Africans to turn up, and bear in mind, Africa has 54 nations. We've had some big teams that have also missed out. Nigeria's of this world, Cameroon, who are the record appearance team in World Cup history. They have like 8 or 9 appearances at the World Cup, but they've not even made it. That just tells you how competitive these African teams have become. We have Cape Verde, you have South Africa, you have the likes of Egypt who are making their 3rd or 4th appearance now. We have, Tunisia didn't do so well. But the fact that teams like Cape Verde have taken their chance on the global stage. First time appearance, not losing a match until now. Yes, I know it's draws, but they finished second in their group. That just tells you that group is a very tough group, because if they finish second with 3 points, no win but no loss, just tells you the dynamics of how this competition goes.
It's
So
interesting
yeah.
that you mentioned Cape Verde, because I also shared in the fears that Eugene has mentioned that an expanded World Cup perhaps might have exposed the smaller teams coming into the competition. But we've seen some very good stories and headlines, like you've said, by Cape Verde. We've seen Morocco. Not much of a surprise because of how they played in the previous tournament. They got to the semi-finals, but in fact, what we've seen from them is they've really stepped up their level of competition, and they're easily the best, one of the very best teams in the world right now. So I'm gonna ask, which have been some of the notable performances that perhaps have caught your eyes early into this tournament and heading into the knockout rounds?
Notable performances for African teams or generally?
Yeah, generally.
Generally.
Yeah.
I'll still pick an African team, Cape Verde, bro, because they were in a group that had 2 previous World Cup winners, Spain and Uruguay. Uruguay is a formidable team in World Cup history. For them to finish, I think, bottom of the group, if I'm not wrong, or maybe third, and I think it's bottom of the group. Sorry, it was third, but they still didn't make it as one of the best ranked teams. But for Cape Verde to be able to hold Spain, one of the favorites for this tournament, to hold Uruguay, and also end with the draw against Saudi Arabia to go through, that must be the team of the group stage so far for me. I would pick maybe Morocco as well against Brazil.
Yeah,
I was really surprised by how they played against. I mean, they blew Brazil off the park that day. So that just gives me a lot of confidence even going into the round of 32, having 9 teams. Hopefully, we're going to have even, a bigger number go to the round of 16 as compared to previous editions.
Indeed. Eugene, any takers?
I don't know. Anyone who's listening to this podcast will be able to see what I'm holding. I'm holding a handkerchief. At the beginning of this World Cup, this handkerchief had a bigger chance of going past the group stages than Cape Verde, honestly. I'm going to be honest. Nobody
In fact,
had them.
I read somewhere that they had a 1% chance of qualifying. That's really low.
That's very low. And then to sit there and look at that goalkeeper, 40 years old, Vozinha. I mean, that to start off that game like that, and then for 90 straight minutes, Cape Verde did not even break the Spanish half, but defended with everything for 90 minutes. That is an insane stat to look at. Honestly, sitting there and watching that game, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And to see that the aftermath of that game, everyone appreciated what came of a 40-year-old goalkeeper. His followers on Instagram were 50,000 at the beginning of that day. They're now at what, 8 million?
20.
They went to 20
Yeah,
million.
it's like 4 days ago it was 17M. What? So I'm sure it's almost 20 now.
So it's,
That just tells you how massive the World Cup is, first of all,
and how
and how
life-changing
impactful it can be
Yeah.
for any team that goes there, or any player that has that chance to participate in such a global showpiece. But it's not just their defending, because in the second game against Uruguay, you could see how they were playing. I mean, a 2-2 result. And I feel they deserved to win that game, to be honest. I mean, so I know they have a tough. Maybe we'll discuss the fixtures for the round of 32, but they have a tough ask, because they're going to be facing Argentina. But
The defending
I'm not
champions.
ruling them out at this point.
I have a question though for both of you, because before I don't want to stick on Cape Verde for too long. We have a very limited time, because most of the African teams, the most thing I've noted is all of them went fully defensive. Rarely did we see, besides Morocco, any proper attacking form of football.
Cote d'Ivoire,
Cote d'Ivoire also
good.
as well.
Yeah, Cote d'Ivoire.
And my question here is is defense enough to win a championship, let alone go past the round of 32?
Yeah, there's a very interesting quote by Jose Mourinho. He says that attack wins you games, but defense wins you championships. I think one of the great sides that we've seen at previous World Cups and even in club football, perhaps even the latest winners, Arsenal, one of their key ingredients was their defense. So perhaps Africa is doing it the right way. And if we even look at 2018 winners, France, led by their current coach Deschamps, one of their standout attributes or approaches to the game were their defense. They conceded very little. Most of their games they just won 1-0, 1-0, 1-0 to win. And so yeah, defense wins you championship. But I'd love to see more African teams actually show how good they are in attack, because they've got some of the best, the most talented players in across the globe. We have Salah, we have Mane, and it's not just among their peers. We've seen these 2-3 players finish among the top 5 in Ballon d'Or in recent times. So I want to see them show more courage in attacking these games. But to answer your question, yes, I think defense is a very key part of the game, and defense wins you championships.
It can. Another very good example is Italy in 2006. I mean, they had even their defender is the one who won the Ballon d'Or that year.
Yep.
That just tells you defense can win you championships.
Even
So
against Messi, because Cape Verde are facing Messi now.
Yeah. So I mean, they really have to approach that game with a good plan. But I think the African teams can attack as well. I've watched Morocco and Cote d'Ivoire. They can play ball. Even the loss against Germany for Cote d'Ivoire in their group was really harsh, because I think they really took the game to Germany that day. It's just that they were a little bit wasteful in attack, but they were creating a lot of chances. They have a very good attack line, one of the best. They have the youngest squad, Cote d'Ivoire, and they're playing without fear. Senegal, I mean, they wrote the record for the most goals scored by an African team in World Cup history. 5 goals. So it just shows you, if you really want to play attacking, you can. And it was against Iraq. So Iraq really gave Norway, a good game, a tough time. So for them to punish Iraq the way they did just shows that if you really, really go for the game, you can also win games. So, I mean, you just have to look at your opponent and prepare for your opponent for each and every stage.
Okay, so the approach by African teams sort of leads us to our next conversation, and it's about what has stood out, or what is making African teams so good right now. Is it their tactical discipline? Have they gotten better at their youth structures, or are they just much more courageous now? Perhaps after they've watched the likes of Morocco break the ceiling for them by becoming the first African team to reach the semis. What do you think is making Africa click finally? Because we've seen them actually go toe to toe against the very best in the world.
For me, maybe the standout thing I would say is continuity for most of these national teams that are doing well. I'll just mention a few examples. We've seen, especially the teams that are playing really, really well. Cote d'Ivoire have had Emas Faye since 2023 when they won their home AFCON. He took over and he's been with them since. Morocco, yes, they had Walid Regragui from 2022 Qatar, but you would notice Wahbi was also part of the national team setup. He was the coach for the under-21s who won the World Cup last year. So for them to, should I say sack Regragui, or rather, just replace him with Wahbi, who has been in the setup throughout, that identity isn't lost with the team. So you can see they're playing even better. I mean, because it's a fresh coach, fresh ideas, but it's just the same identity. You can say the same for South Africa. South Africa have been playing really well as well because of Hugo Bruce.
I have an issue with that one.
Hugo Bruce has been with them since 2023. Yes, they've fallen short in some of the games. Yes. But they have really put, let me tell you something. South Africa has been fighting against the whole of Africa.
Okay.
Outside the football pitch.
Yes.
And this has really, really affected that team, especially going into that first game. I mean, a lot of Africans or Mexicans going into that first game. But I think they had to really block that noise for them to really focus.
But Moha, I have a question. There's a certain standard of football we've expected, because even when it comes to club football, like African club football, South Africans leagues are very up there, right?
Yes,
and there's a certain expectation of Bafana that was expected to play. Okay, the noise aside, not the noise of the politics of the African continent versus Africa aside, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But the discipline of being able to be baited into the most offenses on the field. They've been collecting yellow cards like Infinity Stones. I mean, what was the offenses?
Especially even the 2 red cards in the first game. So
there we go.
The yellow cards.
I needed you to say it. Yeah. So, do you still stand by the fact that they played well? Because I don't.
I just think there's a little bit of should I say harmony in the group for them to just go through that challenging time and come out of it. I think that played a part. You'd see the likes of Tunisia even before they hired Havrenard. A game into the tournament, they changed their coach a few weeks to the World Cup. So you see, all that destabilizes teams. Even Ghana, to be fair, they've not played the best of football. Quiroz is known for defensive football, but he hasn't given them like a proper identity and tactic that this is Ghana's style. It's just they've been scraping through the group stage so that they get to the knockouts.
But scraping through...
That's how he plays football, though. But that's how he's been doing it with Egypt, even when he was in Iran. So
scrapping, I wouldn't call scrapping past England, just something small, because that English squad did have something to frustrate. And
they did frustrate England. Yeah,
Juju did work on Harry Kane.
Yeah.
So.
How much has South Africa benefited from having a core group that sort of play together very often at Mamelodi Sundowns, at Pirates? They all basically play in the same.
And they've been consistent, to be honest. And that's what I was saying, continuity and consistency. Yeah. Because even in the last two African Cups, they've done so well. They finished 3rd in Ivory Coast, and I think they reached the quarters in Morocco. Yeah. So, I mean, they've been together and they've been with the same coach. So I think that's what stands out for me. Obviously, there's other elements that go into knockout football, knockout competitions, but I think that one has stood out for me.
So Eugene, some of these African teams like Cape Verde, some of their players, perhaps I think 97% of their players apply their trade in European leagues. How much has this experience playing against the very best players in the world, in the best leagues in the world, how much has Africa benefited from this aspect of the game? Because now we've even seen more players opting to play for African teams, bringing their own experiences from Europe, from South American leagues. How much has this helped elevate the level of African teams?
When it comes to Cabo Verde or Cape Verde, however you prefer to call it, I have no insight to offer, because in the world of trying to be a pundit or just sit in front, it's easy for me to sit, in front of my TV and yell at, the players on the pitch. Barely a decade ago, that country had no proper working football program. A decade. Right now, they've gone into the round of 32s. Yeah. There's no amount of statistic analysis for me that's going to make sense. The average age of that team is 30 years old. The average age of that entire team is 30 years old. The experience is there. What they're doing right, honestly, this is just simply watching football magic. When a team gels, it just gels properly. Because right now, they have, $10 million already in their bank to just build from just moving into the next stage to build a proper football program now. They've just moved to the next stage. They have proper bank now. They can work on a proper program back home. Honestly, I have no notes to give. They seem to have figured out how to make the team mesh, and the same stability you've mentioned before. It's showing.
That's another prime example, Matthews. I mean, we remember Cabo Verde from 2023 AFCON. They eliminated Ghana and Egypt in the group stage of that tournament and went on to the quarterfinals. It's the same team. They've just added more players from the diaspora with the same coach, the coach that has actually won Coach of the Year, I think, last year. So continuity is the secret, I feel, especially with national team football. Just be patient, have some stability. Everything has to be run well. Use FIFA money well. You get? So that you structure your football in your country properly. Yeah.
Okay, so it's been a record-breaking group stage for African teams, and heading into what we call now the business end of the tournament. We are going to expect a lot of surprises according to how these matchups have been made. Perhaps you'll tell me which are going to be the dark horses of this competition, which teams you expect to pull further surprises, and now that Morocco already got the fact that African teams had never reached the last four out of the line, how much of a deeper run do we expect from African teams heading into the knockout rounds?
Yeah, Peter Crouch once said, and I think I put it in my cheat sheet, my notes that I gave to you. He said, what? And see, read it.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time before an African team wins the World Cup. And brick by brick, step by step, we're getting there.
Yeah.
Proof in the pudding is that Morocco's performance in the last World Cup.
Yes.
And now you're telling me 9 out of 10 African teams, round of 32s in the knockouts. We're getting there eventually. For the dark horses, we're talking about African teams only, yes?
Yep.
Okay. In the African side, I'm liking what I'm seeing with DRC.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I'm liking what I'm seeing with DRC, and I'm surprised we haven't even mentioned that squad.
That's a
so
good
far.
call.
DRC is a proper dark horse for me. I'm liking it. It's quiet. They're building slowly. We don't know yet, but they're pulling off some nice surprises.
Mohamed?
I'm looking through these fixtures, Matthews. I'm banking on Cape Verde to take Argentina all the way to the... No. Listen to the statement.
Okay.
To take Argentina all the way to the penalties
Okay.
and lose to penalties, which I think is going to be a heroic way to go out. And it's still going to be a very, very successful tournament for them. It will mean they've never lost a game in normal time. So it's really going to boost them. But for football...
history is on their side because
Yes.
historically, defending champions have sort of had bad tournaments.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Others never even gone past the group stage. So Argentina in the knockouts. So they've tried.
As a Cristiano fanboy, I do hope Cape Verde have it in them. Just finish the job.
Yeah.
Just.
Yeah. Is there are they on the same side of the bracket with Portugal, or are they
No,
they're not.
Portugal are on the other
on
side.
the other side? Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're going. It's going to be a Portugal Argentina final. I wish they met somewhere in the round of 16 or quarterfinals. It would have been nice to just have one last dance with with these two exceptional players.
But perhaps we expect a very close contest in terms of the matchups that we expect in the knockout rounds, because going by what we've seen in the group stage rounds, there haven't been lopsided matchups. We've seen very close scores, especially the football superpowers struggling. Do we expect to see maybe a 3-0, 4-0, 5-0 scorelines in the knockout rounds, or we're going to see a lot of tactical approaches? Or what do you expect in terms of how teams are going to approach these knockout rounds, Eugene?
Still, I expect at some point the African teams, which is my disappointment. I'm expecting a lot of the same defensive play here, honestly, which I'd honestly want us to veer off that, because it's too risky to bank on against certain teams, especially now. Start off with South Africa. I'll give South Africa a confident win over Canada. Canada have not given me anything. So far worth thinking they might have anything against South Africa. South Africa might get there, but defensively, I'm expecting more of a defensive tactic, trying to push their way through the round of 32.
I think round of 32, round of 16, we're still going to see more of the same. I think if they reach the quarters, it's all to play for now. Just go out there and go for it. So I think it's still early. Now we are going to the round of 32, which was the first round of all the other World Cups before. So there's still a lot of teams. So it's still a long way. They still need to be careful. But I'm expecting other teams to play the same way they have, like Morocco against Netherlands, Cote d'Ivoire against Norway. I think it's going to be mouth-watering ties.
Yeah, Cote d'Ivoire might take out Haaland. I see it.
Okay, so yesterday we had a conversation with the veteran Kenyan head coach Ghost Mulee. Perhaps we can play some of the audio nuggets from that conversation to our listeners. And one of the discussions we were having is how much African coaches have done a good job handling their own teams, and now how they've managed to handle these teams perhaps gives federations and national associations the urge to keep faith with their African coaches, because I think perhaps like Morocco, the deep run they had, they were under an African coach. The deep run that Senegal had, they were under. In fact, 3 of the last AFCON winners have all been managed by African coaches. How much has perhaps either have coaches done enough to prove themselves that they can actually handle their own teams on the biggest stage?
So, I mean, for this issue, it's basically a case of we never knew it could happen until it has been done. So, I mean, now there's proof that local coaches can actually do it. We've seen it from when MS5 won the AFCON with Cote d'Ivoire. We've seen it with Pape Thiaw with Senegal, Walid Regragui leading Morocco all the way to the semi-finals. So if you give this chance to local coaches and give them stability and continuity, it is possible for them to have results. The same with the Cape Verde. But obviously, there's still going to be need for knowledge to be passed by experienced coaches from all over the world. So, I mean, you've seen what Sebastian De Sabo is doing with the DR Congo team, which is really good. So, I mean, a good balance would be good for the development of coaches around Africa.
Okay, so we're going to jump to the new rules that we've seen at this tournament. They're not exactly very new rules, but we've seen them be implemented more consistently at this tournament, and that is the cooling and hydration breaks. I've seen the German coach and former Liverpool coach Jurgen Klopp talk about it, saying that they've been shortchanged. We were told about cooling breaks were supposed to be about the welfare of players, but FIFA have sort of used it to get more time to run their ads. How much has this, because, and actually for many coaches have complained that there's a lot of momentum switch once these cooling breaks are done. How much has this affected the game, and perhaps is it something that we should consider removing?
No. But what I would say is, because it is a North America tournament, I would say the Americans, the United States specifically, most of their sports have
They're
four
broken
quarters,
down in quarters.
in
Okay.
4 quarters.
Yeah.
Maybe they've decided to Americanize this World Cup
Okay.
and let it be just for this edition. I would have no issues with that. But I think to break down football into 4 quarters, I don't think it's a smart idea. Maybe the organizers have used it as a way of making more money, because now during the hydration break, which is 3 minutes long, they run ads. For the coaches, I've seen split reactions from coaches. Some are saying it's good for them to now pass on tactical issues to their players. But for the players, obviously, also some of them don't like it because of the momentum shifts, of which I have noticed whenever I watch. Yeah. But for the coaches, I think it's been split. As someone who is watching, I have no issue, to be honest, unless it's my team. Unless the team and the momentum shifts away from my team. But to be honest, at first I was a bit hesitant and skeptical about the water breaks, the hydration breaks. But I think it's fine, so long as it just doesn't go past this World Cup. I think having football into 4 quarters is
It's not football
it's
anymore.
not for football. Yeah, let it be the American World Cup. It's fine.
Eugene, do you feel like this is a genuine attempt by FIFA to take care of the welfare of players, or are they just being sneaky?
Originally it was. They just found a bit of leeway to make more money in between.
Yeah.
It was a very good idea at the beginning, because it is hot, and the weather does essentially affect how these players run. But now seeing it in play, like you mentioned, at some point there's actually high pressure action going on, and then I'd hate to be the one who's on the momentum of trying to build up on a goal. The ball goes out of play for just 1 second and someone just kills it. I'm going to boo the hydration break.
I mean, England scored immediately after the second hydration break.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the momentum was actually with Panama.
Yeah.
So after that, it was a corner kick, and Jude Bellingham scored from that corner. The guys just switched off. Yeah. So there's pros and cons to everything, but I hope it remains at this World Cup and doesn't drag.
Okay, so we're approaching the tail end of our conversation today. It's been very insightful. I'm going to give my guest for today a chance to give their quickfire predictions. Make sure they are as controversial as possible. The wild idea that you had in your mind that you would never dare say it to anyone, just telling yourself in secret. Please put your neck out for this one if you have any wild ideas. So quick fire one. The answers that I want from you. Who do you think is going to take the golden boot? Of course, right now we have Messi leading at 6, and then we have like 5 players behind him on 4.
Yeah.
Mbappe, Haaland, and a host of very prolific players. Who do you think is going to take the golden boot?
So this is quick fire. Just give you a name and that's it.
Yes.
Mbappe.
Ooh.
Mbappe. I'd have said Dembele at some point after that, the hat trick, but Mbappe he still has it.
The general.
Yeah, general himself.
Which is the African team that gets to go farthest?
Good grief. Ivory Coast.
Okay.
I don't see Morocco making the same run this year.
Yeah.
Brave call. Okay.
It seems I'm trying to look at who has the easier route on paper.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, please tell us. Do you have the brackets there?
I do have it.
Okay.
I do have the brackets. They're the last page of the thing.
Okay.
They're on the very last page there. There's South Africa facing Canada, which I see South Africa going past. There's Ivory Coast versus Norway. I see Ivory Coast going past Haaland. There's Belgium versus Senegal. I do not see Senegal making it past that. I don't see it. It might be 1-1, penalties, Senegal bundled out. I'm not convinced as of yet. And then there's Australia, Egypt. Egypt swim past Australia thinly. Then there's Cape Verde, Argentina. I'm hoping for Cape Verde all the way. I will die on the hill of Cape Verde. And then there's Ghana, Colombia. Ghana might swim through 1-0.
That's very evenly poised, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Moha.
So this is on the question of who's going the farthest.
Yeah, who's going farthest?
If Morocco beats Netherlands, it's them. But I'm going to give Cote d'Ivoire.
Okay, so Cote d'Ivoire.
I've enjoyed the way they've played football,
It's been, I guess,
Cote d'Ivoire.
the one place you and I agreed.
Yeah,
When it comes
they've played, I think they've played the best football so far.
when it comes to club football, we can't agree on anything with you. Just when it comes to club football.
So that's interesting because coming to the tournament, they were sort of under the radar. The biggest teams names were the AFCON finalists, Senegal and Morocco. So perhaps Cote d'Ivoire have really done a lot to catch your eyes.
Yes.
Okay. Biggest surprise of the team of the tournament so far.
Cabo Verde.
Okay. No,
that's a no-brainer. Yeah. Vozinha.
Yeah, the same. Yeah, it's been
Okay.
Vozinha, Cabo Verde all the way. That is the surprise for me.
Okay. So now to our final quick fire answer. Who's going to win the World Cup? This consider how they've been matched up against each other, the routes that they have to take. Who do you think is going to win the World Cup?
Portugal.
Portugal. I mean, I'm also a Roro boy. But France are just too strong. Whoever's going to stop them is going to win the World Cup. So, if whoever's going to eliminate them will go all the way to the final.
Whoever eliminates France?
Yeah, because they are the favorites for me.
Okay. Using Sam?
I'm staying on the hill in Portugal. I started off with Portugal and I'm going with Portugal all the way. Just as long as they give the 41-year-old Starling just a break. You can't depend on him the whole way, but they have a strong team. I'm dying on the hill of Portugal.
That was Matthews Mutar speaking with sports reporter Mohammed Abubakar and sports commentator Eugene Mori, reflecting on the remarkable performances of Africa's teams at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Whether it's Morocco's continued success, Cape Verde's fearless performances, or the breakthrough made by DR Congo and several other nations, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. African football is no longer aiming simply to compete on the world's biggest stage. It is becoming one of the tournament's defining forces. Thanks for listening to China Africa Talk. I'm Tian Yu, and we'll see you next time.